So I am Beatrice Irwin. I'm 16 and I'm a writer. I like to write screenplays and poems the best, and that's what I read the most of, but I'll write anything that I can get my hands on. I think I definitely write about being a lesbian a lot. I think that's something that comes naturally and something that's really important to me, and I think representation is really important to me, especially in media and film. And being a screenwriter, I think that is something that I always gravitate towards. It's kind of like my friends make fun of me because I pretty much only write about lesbians. But I think writing about womanhood and love is just something that I think is very natural, and I can just incorporate so many beautiful storylines into it. My lit teacher says there's no such thing as writer's block, which I only half believe because I think there sort of is, but at the same time I write every day, and I a lot of times just don't have time to not get ideas. So sometimes if it takes like watching 3 movies back to back for the purpose of like research, or just to get ideas and just to write anything, I think the thing that I do is just write really, really terrible first drafts and then keep working at it until it gets good. Because I think that's really the only thing you can do if you don't have any ideas. I think Noah Baumbach, he's a screenwriter and he's written a few Wes Anderson movies. He's written Frances Ha, and he's worked with Greta Gerwig a lot. I think I just admire the way that he's actually shaped a lot of what we know as like great cinema, but he's very behind the scenes. And I really like that, and I like that kind of the idea of like the power of writing behind the scenes. And I think all of the screenwriters of Moonlight, it was a team that worked on it, and I think that's like the best screenplay ever made. I think it reads like poetry, and that's something when I need inspiration I'll just go back and read that. I've never been like a huge genre kind of person. I do like science fiction. It's harder for me to write it just because I'm not great at world building. I love horror, I love Stephen King and the worlds that he can create, and I think that there's a lot I can learn from him even if I don't write like that. But I love like contemporary stuff, and I try to write like real life. I find inspiration from, I think, a lot of other art, not even always poetry or other screenplays, but visual art a lot. I love sculptures, and even if I can't see them in person, I love just like looking them up or like exploring them through the internet. And I think I take a lot of inspiration from that visually, and I think also just being around other people and hearing the way they talk to each other and the way they treat each other, I think that's the way I understand a lot of myself and the way I want to create things.
Tell me your plans for when we graduate.
Why the sudden interrogation?
Just curious.
Well, I'm not really sure yet.
Well, I'm aiming for university. Get my master's, find a job, be so rich I can buy out Bill Gates. Simple. Even you'd be able to understand.
The world's bound to end in 2030, so why bother going to college, or working even? I'll just work a miserable minimum wage job or something, then the meteor strikes and I die. End of story. Good for you for trying to buy out Bill Gates, but it won't happen. First off, do you even know how much Bill Gates is worth?
Should I get a PhD then?
You know what I mean.
Or maybe 2? Oh, or even an MD?
Ugh, never mind. All I'm saying is, what's the point of thinking about things like the future when we know we're gonna die?
I mean, isn't it just nice to think about? The what if. Maybe those scientists made an error in their calculations, or by some miracle, the 0.001% chance that the meteor doesn't strike us becomes reality. Either way, it's too early to give up, isn't it?
We should do a Brockhampton thing where it's like...
What?
We should do a Brockhampton thing where it's like, my name is Hannah, and this is Sierra.
Yeah, be serious.
My name is Alan, and this is Sierra.
Sierra walked down the road, her car just got towed. There's no going well, everyone can tell. Today is not her day, and she walks into the store. She gets called a whore. Today is not her day, really not her day.
Hello?
Ryan's on the phone, says he's all alone, but she knows.
Run, 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 run.
Sierra, she ran down the road. She heard the gun load. Is this the end?
Holy shit, I didn't know you were dead. What the hell? I'm scared. Heaven? Is this hell? It's prize hell. I'm scared.
The ER said she had survived. Said she was alive. Wish she had died. Whoa,
What size shoe do you wear?
One of them. I don't know. 11, maybe 11 and a half.
Wow, that's a big foot. Take me to get to the top floor. Estimate.
How many steps?
Like how many
I
steps, you know?
do it in 3.
Oh,
3 steps.
that's a big foot. How do you feel knowing that Mr. Ali is a big foot?
I don't know. Does he have big feet?
He wears a size 11 shoe.
I don't think shoe size dictates personality. I personally have a size 6 in women's, but I can also
That's
wear
a
children's
big
shoes, so
foot.
you know. I still view Mr. Ali as an equal. Yeah.
How does it feel knowing that Mr. Ali is Carver Center's residential Bigfoot?
Wait. Wait. What?
I can rephrase it. How does it feel knowing Khalid Ali is a Bigfoot?
Great.
Interesting. Interesting. So, Rivka, how does it feel knowing Khalid Ali is our residential Bigfoot?
Shut the... No! Stop!
How does it feel?
Amazing. It's an honor.
How big do you think his feet are?
I don't know. Size 4.
They're 11.
Okay.
He's
What is this for?
He's got a big foot. So Hazel, how does it feel knowing Khalid Ali, our film teacher, is our school's residential Bigfoot?
And it came to me as a shock at first, and I was obviously so surprised, but yeah, I think it's better to accept these kind of things, just to embrace it, and I'm glad that he is here.
Anything you'd like to say to him?
Yeah, you go do you, Bigfoot.
Okay. How does it feel knowing Khalid Ali, our film teacher, is our school's national Bigfoot?
National Bigfoot? What does that mean exactly?
He has a real big foot.
Oh. Cool, I guess.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Ali, how does it feel being Carver Center's, George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technologies residential Bigfoot?
It's an honor. It's an honor.
I love a humble man. So I have a question for you.
All right.
How does it feel knowing your old film teacher from George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technology is now confirmed to be Bigfoot?
Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Well, I'm happy. Not exactly surprised. He said some rather particular things like, hey, good morning, class. I'm Bigfoot. And we all just thought it was a joke, but it's nice to have that confirmed. And you know what they say about people with big feet? They have big hearts. So, and he was always so nice. So I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm happy for him.
Is there anything you'd like to tell Mr. Ali?
I'd like to tell him that me and my gnome are now in a happy relationship. You don't have to put this in the movie. No one else will understand this except for him. And tell him that, stomp on, I guess.
Ain't like I'm still 5 years old, Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's daddy coming home, Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then, and I don't need him now.
Will.
Now, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
I began to find my interest in cooking when I was about 4 years old, when my grandfather kind of took me under his wing in the kitchen. He showed me how to make very simple breakfast foods for the family, and after that, it went on from there. My grandfather was a massive influence, and he still is today. I really believe that whether I want to change a recipe or experiment, or whether I just want to keep it how it was before, I think it depends on the day. Some days you'll feel more experimental and you kind of want to expand what you can do with food, and I think that's really what the food cuisine is right now. That's what the food field is right now. It's just expanding what we've already, seen or established as with the basics. I do. I love to cook for my family and friends. In fact, I do so about 5 nights a week whenever I get home after wrestling practice.
My hat says Aiden because I accidentally left mine at home.
Being a culinary student has taught me that you really need to manage your time effectively. You have to understand that with all these moving parts that are going on, they all need to come out as a finished dish, and you can't be missing one component or else everything's gonna just fall to ruin. Cooking makes me feel creative. It makes me feel artistic. When I step in the kitchen, I'm able to do things that no one else can. Yeah, cooking is my own art.
I usually find it really difficult for me to talk about myself. I mean, what is there to talk about? What really defines me as a person? Trying to find the answer to this question was something I struggled with. Most people are afraid of change, but I've gotten used to it. My life has changed a lot over the past 17 years. Just as a baby, my parents had separated before I could even remember them being together. This was the start of me growing up between 2 different homes and adapting to separate environments. In each of these homes, I've grown to find the things I enjoy in life today. I found my passion for art, whether that be drawing or being creative through a camera lens. I found new interests like skating and playing video games with friends while letting go of the old ones. But would I be in the same position if it weren't for that one change? For all I know, that determined everything I know about myself. The clothes that I wear, the shoes that I walk in, the friends I see at school every day. These are just some of the things I've realized reflecting back on myself. Is the person I am now defined by all of these things? I may not have the full answer now, and it may take a long time for me to figure it out. We all change in time, so I look forward to seeing how different I may be within the future.
This is Hazel Gao. There are 2 things Hazel wants you to know about themselves. Number 1, Hazel hates talking about anything deep or thought-provoking about themselves. They'd much rather give you a black screen to look at instead, with some screaming in the background, like this. But since a certain teacher would fail them if they did that, you failed. They won't. Number 2, Hazel has a spirit, something supernatural. It's on their back and nobody but Hazel can see it.
It's a sloth god.
Sloths spend 95% of their time in a tree. It was probably destiny Hazel has this god. Hazel isn't sure how the god appeared, but they were afraid of a lot of things. The fear of failure, being an outcast, not being able to live up to everyone's expectations. Hazel didn't know what to do, and one day, met the god. The god took away Hazel's emotions. They can still laugh and cry, but they can't feel anything permanently. At first, Hazel didn't know what was going on, and tried throwing away the sloth, but then everything came flooding back. So Hazel accepted the sloth. Everything was done mechanically and apathetically. There was nothing they loved nor hated. But as time went on, Hazel grew tired. They didn't feel like they were truly living. And nothing gets better if you keep running away. So Hazel cut a deal. The sloth would be with them for every other day, and eventually, just once a week. It hasn't been a smooth road, but overall, Hazel's doing fine. They're less afraid now. Hazel now enjoys drinking a large mango slushie from their local bubble tea shop. They also like to paint. It's annoying to clean up, though. And maybe one day, Hazel can live without the god. So, does the sloth god really exist? Who knows? But I refer you back to rule number 1. Hazel hates talking about anything deep or thought-provoking about themselves.
Was the mission successful? No, we failed miserably. We were forced to abort last minute. Our status was in danger.
And what of Secret Agent Kelly?
In recovery at home, the close call put her in a state of permanent shock. Her mother is nursing her with juice boxes as we speak.
So, what's your plan now? Just completely abandon what we've been working towards for almost an entire week? Where's your drive, Klein?
That's Secret Agent Klein to you, and yes, that was my plan. We were almost caught. You don't understand what we've been through, the sacrifices we've made.
But just think of the glory we would have, Secret Agent Klein. All of 3rd grade would bow to us, maybe even 2nd too. Heck, maybe even the whole school.
Look, it's just too much for me. My mom made pancakes that night and I had to miss it just for your stupid kidnap Miss Helen's dog operation. It was bound to fail anyway. She has laser security.
What? Why would she have laser security for a dog?
I don't know. Witches are stupid, and you know how she loves Pedro.
This is too much. If you won't help me, I'll go by myself.
Fine.
Fine!